That's right, I'm asking it. Is the modern Beano bad? I don't know, I never read them. Well, today I'm going to change that as I attempt to answer that very question. Hi everybody, it's me, your old pal Ashley, and today we are doing something a little different, and by different, I mean the same thing I always do. Over the last year or so, I've bought a few modern Beanos here and occasionally there. I got most of those Bass Street anniversary issues, except one. I also have a few Christmas issues somewhere, I think. I'm 90% sure. Hey, what are you doing in here, Viz? You aren't the Beano. Silly Viz. First things first, let's discuss this modern cover template. I hate it. It's like, why so much yellow, you know? Name one thing that looks better in yellow. Exactly. The yellow template has been around for a while now, but I feel like they are starting to deviate more often, but then when they do, it also has something else annoying, like this one here with Simon Cowell. Why is Simon Cowell in this day and age in the Beano? I mean, celebrities in general kind of suck. Unless they're going to be made fun of, just leave them out. Why are we marketing celebs to kids who don't care? In all fairness though, it wasn't too bad, but would it kill them to give the C-list celebrity a decent comeuppance? I mean, a tomato to the face. Anything. But I digress. Back to these yellow covers, they're uniform, I guess, but hopefully they start to move away from it. And as of this recording, the very newest issue I have with Minnie isn't too bad at all. They still have the yellow, but it's toned down and moved to the side, which is mostly better. Mostly. And I know this is my nostalgia talking, but come on, those early 2000 covers were the goats. Let's go back to more stuff like that. And speaking of covers, maybe it's just me, and I think it might be, but I miss the main event characters being on the cover always. I'm not saying it needs to be Dennis the Menace and with his current art style. That could be a bit detrimental, but just a main comic on the cover I think is more charming. I see the other side as well though, where it's nice to rotate and highlight different strips. I do get it. But when everyone is special, remember, no one is. To me, a person way too old to be talking about this, it is a lot more engaging when it's Biffo every week and then holy shoo, it's Banana Man on the cover. Wah! Less is more. I'm being super pedantic though, I know I am. I'm working on it. The different cover start each week is... it's fine. Well, what else can I needlessly complain about because I want to complain more? I don't like the paper. It has magazine plastic paper and I'm not about that life. This has been the standard, however, for a long time, so it's not a new thing, and really, who cares? I do. But the tabloid style paper did feel so much more satisfying to touch. And I'm sure there are people out there who prefer this plastic paper, sure. Weirdos are always amongst us, but that doesn't mean I'm wrong. My other biggest complaint, and it is a doozy, is the character assassination of a certain lovely boy. I'm talking about sweet, talented and wholesome Big Guns Walter the Softy. For some inexplicable reason, they have made him this needlessly weird and aggressively posh boy villain. Hashtag not my Walter. He is not big guns, he is fake guns. There's no pew pew here. I guess now some of you will want me to complain about woke. Well, here you go. I hate woke. The term. It's cringe. It's like the cringiest boomer phrase, and I say that as a very cringy boomer. The name changes seems to be the most common woke aggression. This is Fatty and this is Spotty. Or it was. Now we call them Freddy and Scotty. And you know what? I'm not losing sleep over it because honestly, who cares? I'm 135 years old and these kids comics are not for me. Look, it's on the cover. 4 kids. The kids reading today don't care if they had different names or that Dennis the Menace used to get some severe baitings back in the day. I mean, I think it was better, and I'm still going to call them Fatty and Spotty, but I'm not going to become a regular reader if you bring it back. Other complaints, also centered around Bash Street kids, are the new kids they introduced. I don't care about them being more culturally diverse. I do think they could have been integrated a little bit better though. A big problem I always felt when they were introduced was the modern designs clashing heavily with the classic, very British 50s look. The new artist style though, I think diminishes this a little bit and I don't mind it as much. However, I will never forgive what the new art style did to Handsome Plug. What is this? Plug should look like some creepy, big-lipped butt sniffer with bizarre pointy outy ears. Yeah, like that. That's Plug. So if you would allow me to just digress a little more, here is my little fan pitch for making a better Bash Street school. If you look at the original Bash Street kids, back when it was known as When the Bell Rings, there were a lot of kids, like a whole school. It wasn't just 10 freaks, a teacher, a cook, a headmaster, and a janitor and his cat who were secretly secret agents. Maybe again, it's just me, but if you expanded the school out a lot more, it would open up more opportunities, be fresher, and these new characters wouldn't be sore thumbs. You risk watering down the original members, sure, but I prefer to see it as making them more special. Who knows, maybe you could do an entire comic, just Bash Street School. Well, that's my terrible idea of the day, and I regret sharing it because I also think it's bad. Luckily, the Beano didn't listen to me, and what they did do instead was haphazardly give us Harsha, Mahira, Stevie, and Khadija to a million tiresome complaints. You know who else was hated? Miles Morales. That's right, and now we love Miles and want to see him in all the movies. Give it 10 more years and the people who complained about these new kids will have forgotten all about them, and the ones who grew up with them will complain if they aren't included in games or TV shows. I dare say they have already been around long enough for that process to begin. Let's move on to the art now. It's subjective, I know, but I don't love a lot of the art, or at least I thought I didn't. Ooh, matron. Let's delve into the biggest culprits of what I don't like are Roger the Dodger and Dennis the Bloody Menace. They, in particular, I think don't look too hot when compared to their past glories. Seriously, what is this, Dennis? You know it is bad when I long for his 2009 series look. I have heard rumors and whispers that the changes to Dennis's look was due to some higher-ups not liking his eyes merged and that amazing grin he had cutting through them. Why do they let people who clearly don't know what they are talking about make decisions? Look at these two pictures of Dennis and tell me which one looks better. If you think picture 2 is better, then cool, sure. You're wrong, but I'm happy for you. Back to Roger. He's just so bland. He doesn't have that pop he once had, and you know what? I blame it on them taking away his white scarf. Terrible mistake. Now, I want everyone to sit back and brace yourself because I'm about to do something completely left field. I'm about to be very positive. I know, my god. The Beano comic still has a lot of really nice artwork in it, and not just nice, I mean it has great artwork. My favorite is actually a character who, again, when they were new, were attacked for being woke. Rubi. Rubi Screwtop Science is easily some of my favorite art in modern Beano. Drawn by Mel Pratts. Side note, how nice is it that the Beano finally credits artists and it's not just a guessing game about who drew what. So what is it I enjoy about Rubi Screwtop Science? Just look at it. It's so expressive, it's so nice, it really is beautiful. Other artwork I really enjoy includes Hugh Rain's revival of Betty and the Yeti. This strip has its own really charming art style and I can see why it's a fan favorite. The stylistic art makes it really stand out amongst the others. Dangerous Dan, drawn by the Sharp Bros though, is easily the best art in modern Beano. The backgrounds are generally very detailed and the characters have nice shading and colouring to them. A little more shading and colouring like this could really help some of the other strips. Looking at you, Roger and Dennis. Laura Howell continues to do a great job with Minnie the Minx, but a bit more shading could go really a long way and elevate her work a lot more. They are all on a weekly schedule and have lots to draw though, so it's understandable. The Sharp Bros work as a team and it really shows how that extra hand can really be a difference maker, so I get it. I think a dedicated colorer for each strip could enhance the art of all the strips to the level of Dan. It doesn't need to be a lot, just a little shading on everything would add that little extra dimension, that little extra spice, you know? Next up is a blast from the past. The numskulls are still here and hanging out. I feel their art for the most part is superior and more expressive, except for the Boy the Control Edge. I refuse to put this down to my nostalgia, but I love the old Tom Patterson numskulls more. It will always be number one in my books, but I'm sure some people will feel the same about the original Beezer numskulls, so it's all subjective. Here the numskull designs are very different but still very cool. Speaking of cool, I really enjoy Wayne Thompson's Banana Man. He does a great job drawing the character and I hear a lot of good things about the latest Banana Man run in the Beano. There was a recent big Banana Man anniversary milestone and I managed to collect a few of his comics, so I think in the future it would be cool to do some Banana Man retrospectives. A lot of untapped, or should I say, unpeeled potential here. Huh? Unpeeled? Like a banana? Shut up, it was funny. Another big standout is Emily McGorman Bruce. I love her artwork. In particular, Harsha's Joke Shop, which is her primary comic and is really well done. Again, unlike some of the legacy strips, this comic has detailed backgrounds and the minor amount of shading really makes a huge difference. I have been attempting to make my own comic, so I understand the horrendous tediousness of drawing in the background, especially detailed ones. I avoid it as much as I can, so seeing a real artist pump out detailed comics like this weekly is very impressive. McGorman also does the weekly Beano Boss segment, where they draw fans into the comic, so that's really cool. All in all, I think the art of the Beano is still pretty great. It's very colourful and fun and has some real standouts like Dan and Har. I still fall into the cap though of, yeah, the art was better when I read it, but I would be disingenuous if I said the art wasn't still very good, because it really is. Something also worth pointing out again is that the artists are on a time limit to pump this stuff out. If you look a lot of them up, you can see really just how talented they are and the amazing work they are capable of. It takes me months to finish one comic. Imagine trying to get multiple done weekly and at a high level. Something modern Beano does a lot are these cool, lucky big dip package Beanos. Going back to the Banana Man anniversary, they released this awesome 2 comics in 1 edition. You got the regular Beano as well as a Banana Man graphic novel. I haven't opened this up, as you can see, because why would I? It's too nice to open. I do regret though not buying 2, because I really want to have a little peek inside. Here is another cool issue. It comes with a buildable Robo Menace figure. This one I really want to open, but I won't. Other times the modern Beano will come with a miniature magazine inside, which is really nice. I have some Christmas specials that seem to be both lucky dip and have the extra mag, so maybe for Christmas I can tear it open. The stories also vary a lot and do lots of interesting things. Going back to the most recent issue I bought, they have a very long story called The Mystery of the Creepy Crawler. A story featuring all the Beano cast and a lot of artists get involved too, with Beano legend Nigel Parkinson drawing the most pages. While it's one long story, it weaves in the characters' standalone strips, explaining the art changes. We get George Gant's Angel Face and Jenny, Mel Pratt's expressive Ruby, Shannon Gallant also does a great job on her pages too. The story involves some big mystery, but we won't find out what it is until next week's issue. A nice hook to keep kids invested. Stuff like this is cool and keeps things interesting. As much as I loved my era, it was, after a while, very samey. Occasionally, you might get a 2 or 3-parter like Dennis being kicked out of his treehouse by squirrels, or if you were really lucky, you might get a long Mike Pierce story to break up the tedium. these modern Beanos are pretty great at avoiding that tedium and keep it fresh. Will I start reading them again? No, because I'm an adult, you silly goose, but if I was a kid, I would be loving them. Each issue has its standard strips, but also one longer featured story. We get regular special issues and not just for Christmas or summer. There are also cool features where fans can be drawn into the comic and immortalized forever. So, are modern Beanos bad? No, they are not. Could some things be better? Yeah, for sure, but that's life, isn't it? Things could always be better. Grass is always greener. So, now that I've answered that question everybody was wondering about, what will we do now? Do I just go about my doodly-doo, or do we keep going and tear into a modern Beano? Well, if you check the remaining runtime, I think you already know the answer. Let's open up Beano number 4287, a special movie edition. We get a pretty cool looking bag cover and see Spider Minx hanging over it. Who needs Spider-Gwen? The packaging promises 72 pages of ultimate movie laughs. 72 pages. This was meant to be a quick video. What have I done? Okay, here we go. Let's tear this lucky bag open. As you can see, I'm very gentle. Okay, got it. Well, got most of it. I'm having a difficult time taking the second book out. It appears to be stuck with some sort of glue or something, I don't know, it's a bit annoying. I don't want to tear the bag more, but I don't think I have much of a choice. Okay, got them. So, first of all, very happy with these covers. I was worried they would just use the big image again, but they went above and beyond to give us two different and excellent covers. The regular Beano comic one looks great. We have Dennis and Nasher in the center and the film reels dividing the page to show off the other characters in this week's issue. I think though I prefer the poster mag more. I really love this drawing of Minnie in her director's chair surrounded by all these movie posters. Let's focus a little bit more on that poster mag. The posters are all really cool, printed on much nicer paper than the plastic variety in the main comic. The only full one I can really show is How to Train Your Nasher, because no way am I pulling this apart to see the rest. Luckily, we get a preview of all the posters at least. There are a few duds like Indiana Jones, but at least the pun on that is very good. All the others are pretty cool. Outside In gets a big pop from me because all Beano fans know Inside Out is a numskull ripoff. The Incredible Nana is also awesome. The coloring on the Harsha Mission Impractical is well done too, and for any Simpsons fans out there, tell me if you agree or not, but this Dark Minx has Bartman vibes all over it. All the other superhero posters also pop. Super Dan and Fartastic 4 posters are really nice. If I can pick only one though, as my favorite, I'm not picking a poster at all. I choose the back page of Minnie with That's Old Folks. So fun. Back to the main Beano. I will speed through these extra fast. We open up with a Beano Boss mini strip wonderfully illustrated by Emily McGorman Bruce. EMB. It's time for Beano All-Stars in Beano Wood. Beano Town needs money after the mayor decided to give himself a raise. He needs to put Beano Town on the map to attract tourists, so he decides to throw a Beano Town Film Festival. A funny gag is the mayor realizing his evil plan is actually quite sensible. So, the stage is set with the Beano stars planning to make their own movies, and we cut to a month later as the mayor and some nondescript actor man sit down to judge the films. So, we have a fun little framing device for the rest of the comic. After some terrible big screen jokes, we get How to Train Your Nasher. Got to give the comic credit. A lot of the parodies were very relevant to recent movie releases. The downside to that though means it will probably age much faster. This is everything you expect it to be in 3 pages plus a How to Name Your Dragon, so let me see. My dragon will be called Pump Terror, which by the way, title of my sex tape, ayo, got him. Our next film parody is of Mission Impossible, starring Harsha instead of Dan for some reason. I guess he is already a spy parody, so why do it twice? Didn't say this earlier by the way, but I get strong Proud Family vibes from these strips. E&B once again doing an excellent job illustrating this comic, fitting in all the Mission Impossible tropes. We see laser grids, suction cups, descending from wires, and of course, fake faces. The story ends with Mayor Brown and his son, the fake Guns Walter, being arrested. Har also gets an extra page called Prank Vlog. Do people still say Vlog? I mean, genuine question here. I guess it could be worse. Could be Skibidi Vlog or something. Stupid kids. Get off my lawn! After the typical Beano advertising itself, we get the Fartastic Four, a really cool comic drawn by Shannon Gallant, written by Andy Fanton, who I feel takes most of his inspiration from the 2005's Fantastic Four movie. After a trip to space, they are hit by cosmic farts, and they return and soon develop their powers as Teacher excuses himself as he is feeling unwell. He skedaddles off only to return as Dr. Detention. Luckily, all the kids except Cupert got powers, making them the Fartastic 14, so the title was misleading. Anyways, they battle and defeat their teacher and everything seems to go back to normal until Galactopus attacks and the comic ends with Spotty saying the classic, "Here we go again." Look, another poster. Based on silly superhero name submissions. My superhero name submission would have been Ashman. Yeah, that's rad. That'd be cool. Next is a Mindaft movie. Minecraft is popular and had a movie, so here is the Beano version starring Minnie the Minx. It is what it is, and I'm sure kids will like this, I'm just not the target audience. We also get a Mindaft puzzle next, but nobody got time for that, so let's turn over to Blamtastic prizes. Haha, Beano. Never change. The pixel robot actually looked kinda cool, I won't lie. Enough distractions though, as it is Super Dan time, drawn by the Sharp Bros, who knock it out of the park. These guys are awesome and capture the American superhero look but still keep it British. Not bad for a couple of Aussies. My favorite panel is this one of Dan flying towards the screen. If the Beano still does Billy the Cat, the Sharp Bros are my pick to keep that series going. This comic is awesome. Dan fights a Lex Luthor parody, Prex Prefect, who is operating a giant robot. Dan confronts Prex, who captures our hero with a crypto fart gas. Tied up, Dan must face his biggest challenge, a bizarro clone of himself. Luckily, Jem Jones comes just in the nick of time, freeing Dan, who wallops his clone, and Prex Prefect is defeated. Hooray! The story ends with a classic hand rising, showing the villain has survived to fight another day. I think I'm becoming a bit of a Sharp Rose fanboy. You know who I'm not a fanboy for? Roger the Dodger, and he's up next with Do Very Little. Here he learns to talk to animals and gives them dodge advice. This brings more animals knocking on his door looking for dodge consultations. We see what I think is a Biffo the Bear cameo, questioning why he is here when he already can talk to people, which is actually pretty neat. And speaking of actually, this is not a bad Roger comic at all. He does a runner and dodges the animals by dressing up as a bear. The comic then ends with inanimate objects coming to life, now asking him for dodge advice too. Roger, like I have always said, is clearly clinically insane. He isn't finished though, as he gives us drawing dodges on the next page, and you are probably thinking that whatever he tells us makes no sense as a dodge, and yes, you are right. It's how to draw animals lazily, so hooray! The elephant one is fun though, I guess, but his spider is pretty terrible on the other hand. Dodge these tips if you aspire to be an artist. And just like that, we are at the end. Wow, this one really flew by, huh gang? We are back with the mayor, excitedly waiting 6 hours through the credits only for there to be no post-credit scene. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba, Beano! The actor man here to judge, it turns out, had fallen asleep immediately and missed every movie, so the mayor says the movie with the ghost won. The joke being there was no movie with a ghost. Ting. I actually enjoyed all of this. As we read on, we learn the mayor, who had forgotten why they even did the festival in the first place, is told that it was actually a big success. And we get a funny interview with the one tourist it actually attracted. God, it's all jokes in this, and it's a fun good time. God, help me, I think I'm having fun. We get a preview for Banana Man in next week's issue, and the back page is the fun Make Me a Menace segment, where they make a fan into a comic strip. This Beano really flew by. Also, maybe it was just this issue, but I think there were noticeably fewer number of adverbs than the Beanos I grew up with. The comic strips often getting an extra page or two also really helped with the pacing and gave the strips more time to breathe. It does mean fewer characters appear, and honestly, I think that's not a bad thing at all. Modern Beanos, they're okay in my book. Great flow, bright colorful art, posters, mini comics, extra comics. There always seems to be something new going on. Don't believe the bad buzz. The Beano is still a very fun time and hopefully will be for another 85 years. I think it's honestly so impressive that it's still alive and kicking today. If you've been following my channel for a while, you will know the big theme is often dead and forgotten comics, from Buster and Core to the Dandy and Oink, and of course, the only dead comic people still remember, Hoot. It's this channel's goal to make sure you always remember Hoot. But we should be grateful for the Beano for carrying on all these great titles' legacies, and will hopefully continue to do so for a long time to come. Well, there we are. If you enjoyed me running through a modern Beano, then let me know down below to do more in the future. Who knows, maybe I will have another thing or two to say about a thing or two. Doodles!